Hey guys, this is Sean with the Rhinestone World. Today we're going to be showing you how to make a custom growth chart from our Kids Live template in Clip Art Mega Pack Volume 1. So this pack's going to come with a lot of already created templates for you. So you can see you already have all these templates created for you, but it's also going to come with a mega pack of clip art vectors. So you can see through here we've got over 100 different clip arts all set up perfectly for any type of design. So what we're actually going to be doing is just building from these clip art. So we're not going to use actually one of the templates that's already created. We're going to create our own using the clip art in here. So I already have my 5 animals that I'm going to use for this design. So the first thing I'm going to do is just highlight all of them. I'm going to hit my center key, P as in Paul, on my keyboard, and that's just going to move them all to the center for me. So once we're here, it doesn't matter, it's up to you how exactly you want to set it up. For our design, I'm just going to pull up one of the animals. So I'm going to pull down the monkey once I find that, and then the giraffe's going to go right on top, and then the elephant's going to go on top of him. So I'm going to pull everything else away. And to get it perfectly lined up every time, if you hold shift, it will keep it straight in this line, either left or right or up and down. So once you center it, as long as you're holding shift when you're moving it, you'll be able to keep it all perfectly centered. So then put the rhino on top, and then the bird right there. All right. So just like that, we're able to just stack all of our animals. Now I'm going to go ahead and change these up a bit so we can see exactly where they're overlapping. Alright, so now at the bottom, now I'm going to go ahead, if you're working with the Design Wizard 4.16 or higher, you're going to have in your live template editor our new magic boundary tool. So this works great. Anytime we have these overlapping areas now, all we have to do is click remove shades behind, click our top object, and hit magic boundary. And right then it's just going to clean up everything behind it and automatically get rid of that for you. So it does all the work for you now. You don't have to sit there and add an island, subtract it out. All it is now is once you have it lined up, so I'm going to move this down just a little bit. Once we have that lined up, we'll go ahead and select our giraffe. Again, I'm not holding shift or anything like that, just selecting our giraffe and hitting magic boundary. And then that's going to cut that right around our design. So I'll go to our elephant now. Let's go ahead and make sure he's on top of the rhino. So I'm going to move him up front and then hit magic boundary. Again, you'll see that cut right out. And then we have our bird on top. Let's make him just a little bit smaller. And magic boundary again. I'll select the rhino, magic boundary, and then that cuts it off right for us. So just like that, we're able to subtract everything behind our design now. And now it's going to make it really easy to layer this because it's going to fit in perfectly in those areas. All right. So once we stack our animals, we're going to go ahead and make our ruler on the side. So this part's really nice too, because once I draw this line, I can really dictate the height. So depending on how tall you want to make your design or your growth chart, if say we'll make this one 4, so if I just do 12 times 4 and do 48 inches, it's going to make it 4 feet tall for me. So then I can just take my animals, stretch this to, if I want it a little bit taller, or if I want it the same, I can do 48. So we'll go ahead and do 48, and we'll make sure this is locked. So now both these are 48, and we can put them right next to each other. So now, to make it even easier on us, instead of trying to take a ruler once we cut this and measure this all out, we can use the Design Wizard to evenly split this out into 4 feet. So once I click on my blue or my green line I just drawn here, it's again 48 inches. It's going to be 4 feet tall. I'm going to use the split feature in the design wizard to split this in half 4 times. So the first one I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my green bar here, right click the split. Now I have this right here, that's 24.1, and I have this one that's 24.01. So now these are both 2 feet bars. All right. So we're going to do the same thing again. Split that one, click the top half, and split that one. So now I have 1 foot here, 1 foot here, 1 foot here, 1 foot here. So then I'm just going to go to my rectangle tool, just draw a little nut arc like that, or a little box just like that, and I'm just going to kind of center it right to that line. If it's off a little, it's okay, but essentially that's going to be our marker. So I'm just going to copy that and bring it up to our next line, bring it up to our next one, and then we have it just like that. So then we can do this again and split this. And I'm going to break this one in just a little bit, make a copy, and now I have a 6-inch mark and my foot mark. So again, I'm going to take each foot, split that in half, and then just draw a little marker there. Take this one, split this one in half, put my 6-inch marker there, and then the last one, and then just mark that. So I'm going to leave the top one open. I'm not actually going to put that, but we know that's going to be 4 feet at the top. So now I have all those set up. I can just mark them all, change them green, and then once that's all set, I'm just going to go back and weld it all back together. So now it's one nice clean piece. And then we can take our text tool, choose any style font we want, and we can just put our 1 foot mark here. Let's go ahead and change that up. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So go ahead and change all these up now. Just like that. And then we can change that to green as well, or if we wanted it multicolor to match our guys over here, our animals to the right, we can use the colors on the left, or use the same colors that you see on the right. Alright, so just like that, we've pretty much constructed our growth chart. Now, when we're cutting this, most of these pieces will cut fine. The biggest one here is our, and let's just pretend this is all welded together, or we'll just break down this piece here. So this green piece we have here is 4 feet long. We obviously don't want to cut a piece that's 4 feet long, especially because it's only 3 inches wide. So what we're going to do is, once we have that constructed again, we're just going to do the split tool and break it into fourths again. So now each one's going to have a piece like this. And what we can do now is just rotate these 180 and fit them in just like that. Same thing with this one, 180. And now that piece is 9.4 inches wide by 13. So it'll be a little bit longer than a foot, but it breaks it down to a nice cuttable piece rather than a 4 foot long piece. And then when you're constructing it, the nice part is these are going to layer. So when we use that split tool, let me go back a few steps. When we use that split tool, these layer on top of each other. So there's actually a little bit of a give for an overlap, which makes it a lot easier to line up. So we'll break them all apart, cut each piece, and then we'll just build this as we go. All right. So once we get all that set up, we'll go ahead and start sending this to the cutter, and then we can go ahead and build our growth chart. All right, now that we're ready to cut, we're going to make sure our grade cut's open, and then I'm just going to pull our bird, drag and drop, and then drop it right into our cutting. I'll hit our output. We're going to read our material to make sure it's good, and then we'll just hit the output button and send that through. Once that's done, we'll go ahead and grab our rhino, and we're just going to continue this process a few times. So we'll line up our rhino. Since it's a bigger cut, when I hit the output, you always want to make sure you read your material. This one's going to be a little close to my measurement, so I'm going to go ahead and adjust the cutter real quick. And then once I adjust it, I can go ahead and select my output option again. So once that's finished, we'll go ahead and read material again. That's a little bit better, so I'll go ahead and hit output. Now we'll go through the cutter, and then we'll continue this process for each color and our growth chart. Alright, so once we got the 4 green pieces cut, we'll go ahead and now I pre-cut a piece of transfer tape for each one of these individually, so it'd be easier when we got to this point. So we're just going to take our transfer tape, let it sit right on top of there. Apply a nice little pressure to it. And then we're just going to repeat this for each one. So I'm going to go ahead and take my piece down here and just bring it down towards the bottom. And I'm just going to cut a little mark right where that starts. So right where this mark is now, I can go straight across, and that way we'll be able to start it right from that border. Right, so I got my first piece ready now. You can see the bottom's been cut clean. So I can just come over to the wall where I want to start this, lay that flat. Now we want to try to get it as straight up and down as we can. Once that looks good, we'll go ahead and just give it a nice firm pressure. And then I like to usually just peel from the corner. And we'll just continue this process. Alright, so now we're just going to start applying all of our other pieces to the wall vinyl remover. Now what I did is I flipped it over so this is actually the sticky side, and to help save some room I just already layered everything out. I just pulled a little bit out of it, and now I'm just going to take my different pieces and kind of fill in these areas around it to help save some room. So it doesn't matter what's going here, we can trim around all this once it's all laid out. This will just help us save money by using as much of the material as we can. And then once we have it all like that, I'm just going to go straight across. And now I can just start cutting them piece by piece. So I got my one piece now cut. So I'll cut my pieces here. And I have my second piece there. Third here. And all these numbers are going to go last, so I'm just going to save those for now. I'm just going to put them to the side. So we're just going to kind of repeat that until we have all our pieces all ready to go. And then once we have them all ready, we'll go ahead and start applying it to the wall. Alright, so I got my first piece ready to go. So we'll go ahead and take it down to the edge of the wall. Just like that. And then we're just going to give it a nice pressure. So again, we have our squeegee tool. So if you need one of these to help apply pressure, we can use our squeegee tool. Make sure that's on nice and tight. And again, I like to pull from a corner just to kind of slowly pull. If anything peels off with the tape, we can just lay it right back down, apply more pressure, and then usually that should help fix the issue. So again, we're going to pull slowly, kind of at a diagonal. So we got a piece coming up here, so I'm just going to lay this back down. more pressure. Real slow through that point. Same in here again. So we got our first piece down, so we're just going to continue this process all the way up. Alright guys, now that we have the design completed, let's go ahead and see the pricing margins on our design. So first of all, I went ahead and changed the color palette to FDC wall vinyl, and then I made all the colors match the wall vinyl colors. That way when I left click my pricing, or my money sign, it'll just give me a quick product cost. So about $4.88, less than $5 in material to create this design. Now when I want to get more into my setup fees, my production costs, all my costs combined, we're going to go ahead and right click our money sign. So our setup and design fee, we can just say it was $12.50. The rate of the employee creating the design, let's just say $10 an hour. And their setup for the design with our live template editor and live templates in our vector pack, it really didn't take long at all. So we'll just say 5 minutes. The retail price. Now this is, something like this, you saw we only have $5 into material, but our production end is probably going to be what is going to hurt us the most. It's going to take a little bit longer to cut and set up this design. So the retail price can be, let's see if we charge 65 bucks for a 4-inch or 4-foot tall grow chart. Let's see our production, our profits at the end. So discount, we're not giving a discount because they're just going to get the one. I don't have any blank cost. Our rate of the employee per production is still the same employee, so it's $10 an hour. And again, it took us about 30 minutes to cut and produce this design, cut, weed, and put it on the wall. So it's about 30 minutes there. And again, we're just making one of these. So I'm going to go ahead and hit price. And now we can see our end profit with our design. So again, our vinyl cost is $48. We charge $12.50 for a setup and design. Our design fee expenses were only 83 cents. And our setup / design fee margins was $11.67. So again, material costs is only $4.88, $10 an hour. Took them about 30 minutes to produce. So we spent about $5 producing this design. So our total labor and material, so that $4.88 plus our $5 here, combines for about $10 in material and labor costs. Now we said it was 65 bucks for our grow chart. One's being produced. So it's going to be final price per piece is $65. Total hours to complete. It just took us about half an hour to complete this design. That way we're going to just subtract 65 from our 988 plus our 1167 for design fees. So our total business profit is $66.79. So pretty good profits for something that's only going to take us 30 minutes. And we don't really have to give them, it's nice because they're most likely only going to get one of these, so we're really not going to give them too much of a discount. So if I wanted to print this up, I can go ahead and hit customer and create our printable pricing breakdown. So that's going to give them a nice breakdown of the design they got. And again, everything on this page can be edited, so if you don't like the color or the look of it. Now down here, once we do that, You'll see our customer, so that's going to be the one that we're going to give to our customer. And then down here is our internal pricing. So this will just be for our records, just to see everything on our end and our cost. All right. Again, this was Sean with the Rhinestone World. If you guys have any additional questions about our video, give us a call at 941-755-1696 or shoot us an email at info@therhinestoneworld.com. Now, I am making this design available for 80% off on our website, so you'll see the code located below. So if you use that code on our website, you'll be able to purchase this design already created for 80% off. Have a great day.